Welcome, cooks, to the very first episode of the Cookbook Club. In this series, we pick a cookbook every month and we cook a recipe out of it once a week. This month, we are doing the OG, right? We are in Julia Child's Mastering the Art of French Cooking. We're going to start this off with a bang, right? Today, we're making Julia Child's Chicken Fricassee.
Yay!
Welcome to the Amy Learns to Cook kitchen. So I'm channeling my inner Julia, right? I'm going where many cooks have gone before. I'm attempting to tackle the mastering the art of French cooking.
I like French fries.
French fries. If you want to start taking your cooking to another level, this is when you're going to start. You're going to start with Julia, right? And we have chicken fricassee. This is our first recipe. So chicken fricassee is sort of like this dish that sits between, as Julia describes, a sauté and a stew. Sautés are done with no liquid. Stews are done with a lot of liquid. Fricassees is sort of in the middle, similar to like a braised, in that we're going to cook the chicken off in a butter and oil first, and then we're going to add some liquid and braise it. What's unique about the fricassee is it needs to be it has a white sauce, a cream sauce. So the chicken has to be lightly brown, just yellowed. So it's not like a braise where you're trying to brown something and put liquid in. You're basically cooking it off some and then braising it, right? The problem with this recipe is you might say, okay, this is just a basic braise, right? The problem with this recipe and every other Julia Child recipe, right, is there's a recipe and a recipe and a recipe. So this might be a medium level recipe, but there's 3 recipes that go along with it, with this recipe. So we have a big task ahead of us. Are you guys ready?
This isn't a 1 beer recipe. You need like a 6-pack minimum.
Are you ready, Bill?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here.
Right now, we're doing this right. We're tackling Julia.
I'm cheering for you, Bill.
Chicken fricassee. Let's do this. Okay, so we have a little bit of prep to do. We're going to do some thinly sliced carrot and celery. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in this bowl, thinly sliced, 1 stalk. Okay, we got thinly sliced carrot, thinly sliced. Okay, so we do have an onion situation. So the first thing we need for the recipe is 1 thinly sliced onion. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm just going to slice this here, thinly sliced.
Little half moons.
Yeah. So this is where we come into a little bit of trouble, because she wants us to use like 18 broiler onions. This is an entirely separate recipe, sort of like those pearl onions. They don't have them here. We live in a small town and nobody has them. We would have to drive like 40 minutes to get them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just regular white onion and we're going to just cut it into wedges. Yeah, it's not exactly the same as like having those onions, but there's nothing that I can do about that. So we're going to try it this way. So I'm just going to like wedge these. She wants 18 of them. So I'm going to wedge them like that. Wedge, 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 and they're going to fall apart. But we're going to braise them like this in chunks. So they're similar in size to the pearl onions, but they're obviously not pearl onions. But that's what happens when you live on homestead, right? You have to make do.
I will take my cow pastures over gridlock traffic any day.
You'll accept that I'm not using the right onions?
I don't care about an onion.
It's interesting that she wants sliced onions in the recipe, but then we're going to be making these like braised onions. So mushrooms. So there's another side recipe where we're going to be making these mushrooms. And some people slice them, some people use little mushrooms. I'm just going to like quarter them.
These are like Costco's, they're huge.
Yeah, they're big mushrooms. So to make them similar to using those little mini mushrooms, we're just gonna, some people slice. It doesn't really say what to do in the recipe, so it leads me to believe that she wants whole mushrooms. But because these are so big, I want to knock them down in size. Okay, let's get the chicken. Okay, it's time for me to try to break down this chicken. I'm not going to do it right. I can tell you that now. The chicken cutters experts are going to laugh at me, but hey, I don't know what to say other than I'm going to give it the old Amy Learns to Cook try, right? We have a chicken.
We're used to ripping chickens apart after they've been roasted, and they're easier to pull apart. When they're cold, you know, it's kind of hard. Right?
There's some extra skin. I got to get rid of this before I even try. Okay, this is a chicken. A whole fryer. Wow, look at these hunks here.
Wow, but you don't even need those hunks, though.
This guy has a little fat on his.
Well, we're just cutting off body parts, right?
Okay, so from here, we need down here, there's a leg and a thigh here. Mm-hmm. And we need the leg and the thigh off of here.
Right.
So, somewhere down here, there's got to be a bone where it's attached. Right?
Should be like a knuckle or something where the thigh attaches to the carcass.
Can I get rid of this wing?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, right?
I need a different knife. Okay, let's try this again. We got a beater, baby.
All right.
We got a beater knife.
Fearless.
There we go. Part of this chicken I'm going to be using for stock.
Yeah, so we don't care.
I'm not sure exactly where to cut in here. I don't know where that.
Feel for an area. Like I said, there should be like a knuckle near where it attaches to the backbone. A lot of times you can get the point and you can kind of wiggle it a little bit and then just put some pressure.
This is quite odd because I can carve the heck out of a cooked chicken.
Yeah, cooked chicken's easy because they just rip apart. But when they're cold, things are still connected. There's usually some sort of knuckle down here. There's a lot of meat, skin. But usually when it gets close. So here is some bonage, and that's in the thigh area. And then where he connects is where we want to break him apart. So the question is, where is that, right? It's got to be right in this area somewhere. In fact, I'm getting my finger there.
I think it's a knuckleless chicken.
No, I don't think he's knuckles, but I want to go in that area. So. Oop. Oh, it's easier just to break him. So that part's done. So we broke him. So you want to just cut off some of this meat, Amy?
Just cut the whole thing off.
Well, got that cut. We got the knuckle broken. And this one just cut off some of this. Boom. So he's done. We just flop him there. Got a skin in the way. see backside. So underneath my hand is the thigh, a lot of skin hold together, and then that's the backbone right there. So we just have to separate the two, right? And
don't kill the skin on the breast. When it's done.
You kind of came off a little bit. Well, my thumb is right there. I think that's where the bone is. Skin is like really tight. So this guy's not wanting to rip apart like the other guy did. So let's go ahead and cut some of this meat. Here's a knuckle right there. And then now we can probably carve that right there. There we go. So,
There you go.
yay! You're welcome, bud.
Okay, now that I couldn't do that, we need to get these breasts off of here. Here's your breastbone. Now I could do all this stuff when the chicken's cooked.
Right.
But when it's raw, it's a whole nother story.
Well, because it wants to fall apart when it's cooked.
Yeah, it just says, cut me.
This guy's one step away from clucking at you.
It's definitely a different ball game.
Mm-hmm. Well, looks like you got him off.
One breast
Okay.
down.
Yay.
Not down.
Well,
This is the breastbone right here. This is an entirely different world than cutting this weird glossy membrane here.
yeah.
Gag.
Well,
It's keeping the knife from cutting.
what is it, like slippery?
Something. Across the bottom.
Yeah. I will say for a beater knife, that member's mark is doing a good job cutting through some of the stuff.
It would probably be doing a better job if I knew what I was doing.
Well, that's the other half of the problem. If anybody out there who actually knows how to break down a chicken properly, like in 2 steps or 3 steps,
Yeah.
leave comments.
People that know how to do this just go bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, let us know.
Done.
Let us know how you do it.
So we have a chicken thigh here and a chicken leg. We need to separate these two. There's a big hunk of skin here.
Yeah,
So between here, there's like a...
should be a knuckle or something, like a joint maybe. Well, you can always cut it like that.
That looks like a chicken leg.
Well, there you go.
Chicken leg.
Yeah. You got the chicken leg.
Doesn't look like a properly
I really wouldn't.
done thigh like when I buy one.
No, what are you trying to do? Trim it and make them look pretty?
Make it look a little bit better because it's got all this. Yeah, this doesn't quite look like
I don't know. I'll eat it.
the competition
Oh,
cut that I'm used to.
well, no, because those are cut by people who know what they're doing. We buy it already. We just have to trim it.
So in here, okay,
You just cut through something.
I got that off.
All right.
This has got a little extra weirdo here.
Okay. Okay.
I said I wanted a learning experience. I definitely got that. So this thigh, take that skin off. That looks like a chicken thigh. Yay. The chicken is cut! Yay! It's a marathon, not a sprint, a marathon. Okay, so we have some fresh parsley and thyme from the garden. This is like a lot, so I'm just going to use that.
That was picked 5 minutes ago. That fresh.
5 minutes. So she wants us to put together a bouquet garni wrapped in cheesecloth. I'm not doing the whole cheesecloth thing because there's only like a half a cup of liquid in these onions. And I don't know if, it's not even going to be in there to flavor anything if it's in cheesecloth. So what I'm going to do, I think I know what she's after. She's after, maybe she doesn't want the leaves in there because it's supposed to be a totally white sauce in there, but I'm not doing that.
Boo's gonna get a big old knot and tie it all up, make it look pretty.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take this here and we're gonna wrap it up as a little package here. Mm-hmm. Just like this. Boom. Boom. And we have us a little bouquet. Okay, should I pick these, trim those off? Mm-hmm. There we go. We have this to put in the onions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a braiser here that I have some butter melting in here. So we need to put all our onion ingredients. So this is actually a separate recipe. This is an onion technique that she uses across many recipes. So she's taken it out of this recipe and separated it out so that you could use she could just reference that technique for each of the recipes that use it. So like I said, we would be using the other onions, but they don't have them here, right? So I'm going to put a little bit of dry wine in here. We're going to put a couple bay leaves in here, and then we're going to put our little bundle of fun here. And we are going to be cooking these really on low. They're going to cook for about 45 minutes. So when this heats up, and we're going to get a really low cook on it, we're going to put the lid on. So at times she says you need to check it and flip it around and check the liquid to make sure the liquid's not run out. If it does, add a couple more splashes of your liquid. If you don't want to use wine, you can use some chicken broth. So we'll just let that come up. So it's at a very low simmer. I'm going to go ahead and put some salt and pepper in here just to give it a little seasoning. Smells good. I'm going to go ahead and stir it.
And you said the goal here is to cook them till they're soft and tender.
No color.
No color.
And we're going to cover it. This is going to go for like 40 minutes. We're going to check it along the way to see how it's doing. Okay, so we have yet another braiser. And we're going to cook these vegetables in here in butter. Can't be bad, right? So we got our carrot, our celery, and our onions here. She says about 5 minutes. You don't want to brown them. You just want to cook them till they're just turning tender. And butter braised, right? Yeah. So we're going to let these cook down a little bit, and then we'll be putting in the chicken. So I need to turn the heat up just a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to move all these vegetables over to one side. And then we're going to put the chicken in. Chicken. I hope there's enough room. She doesn't say to season it as of this point yet. Thigh. Crowding it in the pan.
Well, we're not trying to brown it, so we're not worried about crowding.
No. So we're supposed to cook this 3 or 4 minutes, turning every minute without browning. It's a little easier because she's cooking it in an electric skillet. So she tells you the temperature, which I don't have that here. Okay, so we've been flipping it. I don't want it to get brown. It's just yellowing slightly. I'm gonna lower the heat a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and put the lid on, and it's gonna cook like this for 10 minutes. Halfway through, we're gonna flip it once at the 5-minute mark. So, I'm making progress. Okay, so the chicken has been in here. We're gonna go ahead and flip it. We're at the 5-minute mark. Boy, this is kind of fussy. Don't you think, Boo?
Ooh, the whole thing is fussy. The prime directive is there can be no browning.
Just yellowing.
And you can't have things where they don't belong.
I'd rather have a browning, but
Because we have
I guess that's coq au vin
Wow.
and not fricassee.
Yeah.
The skin is a little rubbery.
Yeah.
Oh, 5 more minutes. Okay, so I'm going to take this lid off of here. Here's our chicken. We're going to salt and pepper it. Finally, right? We're going to take some flour and we're going to sprinkle the flour onto the chicken. This is a lot different process than I'm used to. We're going to take this and we're going to flip the chicken, and the flour is going to get into the butter. And then we're going to salt and pepper the chicken again. I'm going to sprinkle this side of the chicken. And we're going to flip the chicken again. We're going to cover. I think we're going to cook it about 4 minutes, but halfway through we're going to flip it. So we'll be back. So it's been a whopping 2 minutes, and we're going to flip the chicken. We're going to put the lid on for 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got our chicken here. So we're going to put in some hot chicken broth. And we're going to put in some dry white wine. And we're going to blend this in so it blends in with that flour. Bouquet Garni, we made another one, but this time we wrapped it in cheesecloth. Eric said that I committed a sin by not doing it before because some of the thyme got into the onions, so I don't really care, but apparently it's a big deal. So we need this to be at a slow simmer, so that's where we are. So we're going to put the lid on, and I think it's going to cook like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that, till the chicken is done. So we will be back. Okay, so our onions are done. Woo!
Yes, hot.
They're looking pretty good. So they're basically just simmered braised onions. Very flavorful. There's no salt in here yet, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put the lid back on. I'm going to move this over to the side because we have yet another recipe to do with the mushrooms. So let me go do that and let me set this up for that. Okay, so we're going to do the mushrooms. I have a saucepan over here, a saucier, with some butter in it. I'm going to add some water. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Marathon.
I need like half a tablespoon of lemon.
That's probably a decent amount.
Some salt. We're going to bring this up to a boil. So we're going to go ahead and add the mushrooms to this. And it says toss till the liquid coats the mushrooms. We had a jumper. It's not a lot of liquid left, but the mushrooms is probably going to give off a liquid. We need to boil it moderately fast for 5 minutes.
Moderately fast without browning them? How do you do that?
I don't know. We'll figure that out as it goes. When it comes back to a boil, we'll hit 5 minutes. Tossing during that, so. You tired yet, Boo? Looks like it's...
Of this cookbook?
Timer, 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to take this lid off. These are our onions here, and we want to get these juices out of here because we're going to be putting these into the chicken. So we'll just spoon them out of here. Okay, now it's time to make the sauce. So I haven't passed out yet, but I'm almost there. So I'm going to take this lid off of here. And here's our chicken. We're going to get this chicken out of here. We're going to get this Bouquet Garni out of here.
Do you need something on?
I put it on that.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get the chicken out of here. Chicken. So the juice from this onions, we're going to put that in there. Yay. We're going to raise the temp on here. So we're going to start skimming the fat. I got a little skimmer here. We're going to get this fat out of here. So we're going to bring this to a boil and let this boil until we reduce this down to about 2.5 cups, which there's a lot of liquid in here, so we're going to have to do a lot of reducing. Okay, Julia says to adjust the seasoning. We let it come to this kind of thickness. I might just adjust the seasoning at the end. Kind of whiny. So I'm just going to move this here because we have to like temper this into here. So in here I have a couple of egg yolks and she wants us to use heavy cream. I can't do that, so I'm using this Country Crock plant cream. It's like a dairy-free heavy cream. We're going to go ahead and put that in there. Doesn't have quite the flavor of real heavy cream. So we're going to mix this. We're going to temper this on in by just adding it slow at the beginning to heat up these egg whites, these eggs, because we don't want scrambled eggs. And as we're doing that, we can slowly get faster. So I'm going to go ahead and dump the rest of this in there. Give it a shock. I'm gonna go ahead and beat this on in here. Now Julia wants us to bring it back here, put it back on the burner for a couple minutes, probably to thicken that back up. And adjust for seasoning again. Okay, so at this point, it looks nice and thick. What we want to do is adjust the seasoning. I tasted it. You can put some lemon in there. I really don't think it needs any because I put quite a bit. I got quite a bit in the mushrooms. So I'm going to put in a little pinch of ground nutmeg. I don't want a heavy taste of that. So we're just going to bring it up, simmer it for just a second, and scrape anything off the bottom into the sauce. That nutmeg changed the color a little bit. Made it a little drabby. So I'm going to move this over here. We're going to strain it. I think the reason she has us strain it is just to get rid of the spent carrots and stuff.
The onions are dissolved.
Yeah. The thing is, though, the carrots are going to give it a little bit of color because it's going to be pretty drab. Do you want to strain it or no?
It's supposed to be drab.
See if we can get all this sauce through here. We did. Okay, it's time to assemble our chicken fricassee. I can tell you, the both of us are exhausted. There's ways that I would do this differently to speed up the process. So we're going to go ahead and put the chicken back in here. We cleaned out the pan. I'm going to leave out the flabby skin from that one piece. So we got some chicken here. Mm-hmm. Let me move the breast in the middle. Okay, so we're going to put the onions in here. So, granted, we don't have the pearl onions like she does because we live in a small town, right? But we're going to put our onions back in here. This is quite a bit. This is more than probably what would have been in the original dish. We have our mushrooms. Those mushrooms look really dark. I don't know if they're supposed to be that dark. We're going to go ahead and pour our sauce in here.
It's amazing how everything is either white, blonde, or yellow.
Yeah. I think I want to put in, our gravy is a little thicker than what I've seen elsewhere. I think I want to put a little parsley on the top. Chicken
Fricassee?
Chicken Fricassee, Julia's way. So here we go. I'm just going to sprinkle this with a little bit of parsley to give it some color, because the dish has no color, and I don't know if that, yeah, that is by design, right? But yeah, I got to have some color on it. Okay, so thank you for joining us for our first cookbook show. I'm sure we're both exhausted.
And you did Julia Child too.
So Eric cooked up a little egg noodles. You want a thigh, boo?
Thigh's fine, boo.
Thigh. Some sauce. Some more sauce and mushrooms. That looks pretty amazing. So, yeah, there are things that I would do differently. I would just do onion and mushrooms in there, and I would brown the chicken. That would make it a lot easier.
There's a lot of separate steps.
Yeah.
Instead of just cooking it all and being happy, you know? But thank you, Boo Boo. This looks
You're
good.
welcome. I'm going to put a chicken breast on here. Some sauce. And some more sauce. Okay, let's have a little tasty.
All right. I do want to say I'm proud of you, Boo Boo, because this was a lot of work.
This was a lot of work. It's very kind of comforting. Let's see the chicken.
The sauce has, obviously, it's a little bit of a wine taste to it.
Yeah. The chicken's fairly tender, a little dry, probably because there's so much time in between everything.
We had to cook it low and slow, and then we had to wait, heat it back up. Just a lot of steps.
Comforting. Would I make this again? Not this way. But I probably would try to make fricassee again.
Well, I know you like chicken marsala and all that. You know.
Thank you, Julia. Your cookbook is amazing. This tastes delicious, and I'm on my way to finish my dinner. I hope you enjoyed this.